This is Greg Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're here today with Richard Jenkins, the CEO of Saildrone, to discuss recent advances in the Saildrone unmanned surface vehicle. Richard, well, I'm certain that a majority of our viewers already know the Saildrone name. Can you start by giving us a by-the-numbers look at the company using the metrics of your choice?
Yeah, sure. So we design, manufacture, and operate unmanned surface vehicles. We started in 2014, so 7-8-year-old company. We have received over $100 million of venture capital. We have over 100 vehicles manufactured. We have 30 vehicles in the water today.
As you know, there is a decided push for autonomy in the surface and the subsurface sector. Can you give us an overview of the Saildrone USV, noting any recent or planned upgrades?
Yeah, so Saildrones are wind and solar powered USVs, which are augmented by onboard power solutions. So we have three types of vehicle: the Explorer, the Voyager, and the Surveyor. The Explorer is 23 feet long, just wind and solar powered, does very long endurance, 6 to 12 months in the open ocean, and 10 to 15,000 mile voyages. Extremely capable, extremely seaworthy. For our higher power applications like maritime domain awareness and bathymetry, which require higher power payloads, we have onboard power in the form of high efficiency diesel engines on the Voyager and the Surveyor. The Surveyor is our largest vehicle at 72 feet long, weighs about 34,000 pounds. That is a full ocean depth survey vehicle. So that maps the seabed down to about 8,000 meters using a Kongsberg EM304 multi-beam sonar. Was built last year. It's finished its trials. It's just sailed from San Francisco to Hawaii on its maiden voyage, and it's now making its way back. On the way from San Fran to Hawaii, it mapped over 6,500 square miles of previously unmapped seabed.
So Richard, I don't know if it's just my imagination, but it's seemingly becoming a very crowded USV field. From where you sit, how does the market look and what differentiates Saildrone?
Well, it depends where you say crowded. I think in the open ocean, it's still not very crowded at all. I think we're the only platform that can actually navigate transocean at will. We've operated over 500,000 miles from the Arctic to the Southern Ocean. So I think the ocean's a very big space and has room for many types of platform. I would say there's not many in the ocean right now, but you're right, it's a space where people are piling into, both above the surface, aerial vehicles, on the surface, and undersea vehicles. So it's a huge need, both from defense, from homeland security, from bathymetry, intel, and climate reasons.
So Richard, looking at the market today, when I say market, looking at the three primary legs, the Navy, the commercial, and the scientific community, where do you see the brightest opportunities for Saildrone in the coming 12 to 24 months, and why?
Yeah, I think the opportunities are very broad across we have three pillars, if you like, three verticals to our business. One is ocean data, climate, weather, fisheries, sustainability, carbon, etc. Bathymetry is second, so do multi-beam mapping, mapping the seabed, near shore, littoral conditions, and also deep ocean. And then we have MDA ISR, which is domain awareness above and below the surface of the ocean. All three sectors have very significant needs, and the financial drivers there really come down to governments around the world and how they apportion funds. Climate is probably the highest need because we're all in peril here, but probably the least amount spent on that currently. Defense is an ongoing and evolving industry. Obviously, as Navy and Coast Guard and Homeland Security transition to unmanned systems, trying to get their head around how to best employ unmanned systems. But again, the need is great. Unregulated illegal fishing, it's a great threat now. China is militarizing its Coast Guard and fishing fleet, a significant threat to other nations, which we need to monitor. So you have Homeland Security, drug interdiction, human trafficking, etc., protection of natural resources from a nature perspective, breeding grounds, etc. And then mapping is we've only mapped less than 20% of our planet. We know more about the moon and Mars than we do about Earth. When it comes to surface area, we need to understand that for geophysics, for safety and navigation. And one of the big commercial drivers for that is wind farms. A significant investment in offshore wind, and that has many services that we provide, from sub-bottom profiling to bottom mapping to water column analysis, fish stock analysis, wind and wave height, etc. And we have a very sophisticated machine learning component to our vehicles. Every one of our vehicles has GPU compute on board and can spot things autonomously and visually, including vessels, icebergs, sea ice, marine mammals, and birds. And I mentioned that for the bird reason. Birds and bats are important aspect of looking at sustainability wind farms. So lots of services, and that's much more a commercial sector for us.
As you know, everybody in this space likes a good case story. Can you share a recent case study which demonstrates how Saildrone has been put through its paces?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the most impressive ones from last year during COVID times, it's the COVID times when everyone was locked down, all the government ships were stuck in port. That presents huge vulnerabilities to the nation for security, but also for fisheries. Every year we do a fish stock survey in the Bering Sea. It's part of the Pollock fish stock assessment for NOAA fisheries. And the NOAA ship that normally does that was unable to get to the fisheries grounds. So they were going to have to essentially guess a fish stock assessment based on previous years. And we managed to sail from Alameda, California, 3 vehicles from San Francisco across the Pacific to the Unimac Pass, 2,200 miles, entered the Bering Sea, did the survey of the fish stock in the Bering Sea, sailed home, delivered the data to NOAA, and they were able to create a fish stock assessment from actual data from the Bering Sea for 2020. The difference, the delta in the amount of fish that are allowed to be caught was $100 million. So that's the government allowing the fishing industry to catch an extra $100 million worth of fish due to data gathered by an autonomous system. And that is money in the pockets of people, of seafarers, of fishermen. So huge economic benefit to the country, which came from an unmanned system data play.
What can our viewers and our readers expect from Saildrone from a tech development perspective in the coming 12 to 24 months?
So we move very rapidly here at Saildrone. We are augmenting our services very quickly. We are incorporating new systems the whole time. So we are growing our maritime domain awareness capabilities above and below the surface, I will say. I'll stop there, but acoustics form a big part of that. And mapping, we're expanding our mapping capabilities and growing the fleet at scale. So we are mass producing our middle-sized vehicle, a Voyager, which is a 10-meter, 33-foot vehicle for mapping at scale. So mapping the USVs, for example, is high on our priority list. So a lot of growth, rapidly growing. We've got 100 people now